Hello, welcome back to another episode of Unyielding Voices. Today we are going to be talking about accountability in social movements. We're going to look at what it means for movements to be accountable, what it means for activists to be accountable. And with us, we have one of my colleagues, a very inspiring young lady. She's a passionate human rights activist. I even had to really ask for her bio because I didn't want to misrepresent her. Yeah, she's a passionate human rights activist who is committed to creating a just world where everyone's freedoms are respected, protected, and fully realized. And she is also driven by a deep belief in equality and dignity for all. She works to amplify voices, which she actually does at Solidarity Uganda. She is one of the coordinators, the regional coordinators, programs coordinators, and she works with different movements. She also works with individual activists. She trains, she mentors, and she also gives strategic guidance to these groups. So she's like that person at the front line, but behind the scenes. And today I'm going to be having this conversation with her. She's Ritah Arinanye. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mirab. I'm glad to be part of this today. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've been wanting to have you, but because, of course, of the busy schedules and moving up and down across the country, it's not been easy getting you here. So today I'm happy to have you. And we're going to talk about accountability. I think it's a conversation that we have been having a lot, internally at Solidarity Uganda, but also with the movements and the different chapters that we work with across the country. So to begin, when we talk about accountability, what does that mean for you and for the organization really in general?
Okay, thank you very much. It's an honor to really talk about something that we do on a day-to-day basis in the organization, and also when we are supporting the different movements, we expect accountability from them. And even us as individuals in the organization, we are expected to be accountable to our respective supervisors to ensure that we build a transparent society that can also trust us. When I look at accountability, it's, do you know your responsibilities? Do you know your roles very well as an individual? And from you knowing about your roles, what are you doing? Are you inclusive? Are you transparent? Are you honest? At the end of the day, are you able to own up whatever you've done, whether it is negative or positive? To me, that is accountability. And even in the decisions that you do on every time, whether you have activities, whether in your daily life, are you transparent both to yourself and also to the people around you that you're leading? Yeah, I think that is what basically comes to me.
Yeah, that's well put, really. For me, what stands out from what you said, transparency, honesty, those are, I think, virtues and values that are hard, right? They are really hard. It's very difficult to find people that are honest, that are accountable, and they have integrity. And I want to take the conversation to the environment that we work is quite interesting because, I mean, you see even so many activities and actions being organized by the different chapters that we work with across the country, centering around accountability, holding those in power accountable. So, communities are advocating for good hospitals. They're asking questions of where is the money that was supposed to give us medicine in this hospital? What happened to the money that was put aside for the road, for example, that is in a bad state? And it can be very difficult to be accountable as activists in an environment that is literally committed to make us fail to become accountable, because the system is itself corrupted. So how are the movements and the groups that we work with, how are they building systems of accountability within their groups and within their communities?
For the movements, basically one of the things that you have to first look at is the leadership itself. Because if leaders of the movement are open as possible and are transparent, they can easily communicate, make sure that all the decisions that they are doing, they are inclusive, they are giving chance to everyone to participate, so that at the end of the day they don't feel like this is not ours. Because in most cases it's where problems begin to arise from, that even you as a leader you're not doing what is expected of you in terms of your roles and your responsibilities, but you're looking out there for other people to be able to actually be open and transparent in whatever they are doing, in their endeavors. So as a movement, first and foremost, you have to ensure that whatever you wish to see in the community, whatever you're trying to advocate about, it is what you represent. Because you can't tell me that I should be transparent, I should be accountable, when you as a movement, you're not. What happens if at all, let's say you've had an activity or an action, and after the action, you bring these people to give feedback on what has transpired, and what does it bring to the table? Because it's from that you can be able to know whether it went well or it did not go well. What can we do better? I think that is where I can say that if a movement has those values itself, then it can be able to advocate for social justice within their community. Because yes, we have a rotten system, but if you have not put up maybe meetings, meetup points, or feedback mechanism to ensure that your people are giving you information about the actions, you're not involving these people in decision making, I think that is where you will go wrong.
Yeah, and speaking of systems and inclusiveness within movements, in 2019, I believe, Solidarity Uganda transitioned from a vertical structured organization, which is what most organizations are really. You have like this ED or director at the top, and then you have people, and like usually that person at the top is making the biggest decisions, most times maybe alone, making the decisions. And there is very limited consultation, very small consultations here and there, but ultimately they make the decision. That's how we had, that's the structure that we had. So in 2019, we transitioned into a horizontal structure. And what a horizontal structure is that we have, instead of one person, we are having a group of people that are leading, and they are using, consensus building as a way of making decisions. So which means we are consulting. We are having people consult different people in the organization. And even when the decision making comes into play, it's not one person's decision that is passing. So it is like some sort of majority of the people of that group must agree. And also those who do not agree, they should be comfortable with the decision. You understand? So
Yes.
That kind of structure, which is decentralized, is what we also encouraging the groups that we work with to do. That's why we have like working groups in instead of like these individualized struggles where one person is like the godlike figure who makes the decisions, we encourage them to instead create working groups. For example, there's like a rapid response working group. So there is media working group. There is, it's not like I am the chairman and I'm making the decisions of this group, you know.
Yes.
So we are trying to create a system within Solidarity Uganda that, which we hope to see, like people, getting included, and we want the movements that we work with. That's what we desire for them, and that is how we are kind of like fostering accountability in these movements as well. Like,
I think it's actually it's a good kind of a structure, because it's basically based on even the roles themselves. That this person is not just acting as part of management, but they are doing other roles, which roles they have to actually like be accountable of. They are responsible for certain factions within the organization, and at the end of the day, they are supposed to report on what has transpired within their mandate they are supposed to do, away from just holding a managerial position. And I think it's good for movements to take on such a structure, because it will be easier in terms of reporting, to ensure that these people do not feel like they are left out. And the other thing that we encourage movements to do is to ensure that that kind of leadership is rotational. It's not just based on just these few individuals, maybe the founders of the institution, but it is rotational, so that everyone feels like I'm included, I am part of this.
Yeah, and have you what has been your experience with the movements that are working in that kind of structure? Because there are a couple of movements and groups that we work with that have that kind of structure, even though there are also others that are still slowly really transitioning to that structure. Because, I mean, we have the same system in this country. Like, you have like this dictatorship here on top, and this, like, the systems in the country tend to mimic these systems that we see. You understand? So like, there's this guy at the top who makes the decisions, and so it's like what we are used to. So even when we share with people that, oh, we have a horizontal structure, we don't really have like one individual making decisions, people are like, how does that even work? How does that work? So would you like share some of your experiences, like how these groups, some of the groups that are having like these working groups, this kind of structure, how are they working? How is accountability, in these groups?
The groups that have such a structure basically have been more trusted, and that will come in as because everything is flowing. The information flow is good, really good. So you find that very many people who are willing to support such a movement, they can easily support it. Other than these groups that don't have such a structure, because I mean, this person can get the resources and misuse them. So one of the impact that this kind of a structure will bring is that there is a lot of trust that will come your way once you have such a structure. And away from just people outside having the trust in you, even internally, you have the trust that I can get results from these people, other than just an individual who is maybe the convener of the group, and people look up to him or her for almost everything, because it implies that it will be hard to reach. It will be like the system we are trying to break, and yet it has bureaucracy.
That is
because
unnecessary.
because you feel like I'm a goddess, I'm a god in this institution.
Without me, it can't work.
Yes, without me, I
I'm
can't.
the only one with a vision for this,
Yes.
movement. Yeah.
So you find that movements that have such a structure, it is easy to get even results out of them because they hold each other accountable. What did you do? How did it go? And then you're supposed to report about it. And maybe if there is something that has gone wrong, then these people will come through and be like, this shouldn't have worked this way. And you find that there is more impact because of the guidance that is coming through from other people, because information is on the platter.
I really love having structures that are not individualized, because it is like the system that we are really standing against. I know of groups, the National Land Defense League, which is a grassroots movement that is a farmer-led grassroots movement that is defending land, and which is mostly made up of women. It is, I think, 95% women. So it is women-led. It is doing amazing things. This movement is across the country, and they are chasing land grabbers, taking back their land and holding people accountable. But one of the challenges I think that one of the groups in the movement had is they were lacking accountability, especially with issues around funds, money. For example, when they collect money and then it is misused, and it was like a big issue that was almost breaking the movement. And what saved that group particularly was because there was a working group and not just an individual. So there are people who are asking the hard questions. What happened here? It was supposed to help us do this. Where did the money go? Or where did the resources go? So it's not just about we are making decisions together. It's about we are also keeping each other in check.
Yes.
Because human beings are interesting beings, and they're capable of doing, as human beings, we are capable of doing certain things. So we must be held accountable, even in the movement, and so it's good to call people out in the movement, tell them these are not the values that we embody, but we can only do that if accountability is one of our big values. It's one of the things that we stand for, and without it, we are not existent. So it's very important, I think, for me. I love it mostly because we are kept in check, and we don't lose, the course. So I want us to talk about how, what tools do you think can work for activists, groups, or movements to foster accountability? They could be, tools that are available, but also they could be just like culture that you can embody as a movement to foster accountability.
I think a culture would be the best version for a movement to have accountability as a value fostered all throughout. I look at how, if at all, there are feedback mechanisms that have been put, and those feedback mechanisms are open and they are easily accessible by everyone, and everyone's view is respected at each time. I think it would be very important. And then also, can we have an inclusive leadership whereby it is not based on who has more resources, or maybe who has the best credentials. I think it would be good to have almost everyone included within the leadership, so that at the end of the day they have that feel that I belong here. It is important, very important, for someone to have such
A sense of belonging.
yes, that sense of belonging, that oh, I belong in this place, and I can do anything for this. Because usually in the recruitment period, what they usually look out for are the
You
values.
mean recruitment for movements?
Yes,
Yeah.
for movements. They usually look out for the different values, and they also look out for, do you have the passion for what we do? Do you agree to the goal that we stand for and the mission? But sometimes I think they do not go in depth to discuss, because it's one thing for someone to just see something and is like, I think I've fallen in love with this. But deep inside, within the values that you've been having all throughout your entire life, even before joining that movement, did you have these values? Were you standing for this? Is important for all movements, especially when they are doing recruitment, to always scrutinize, to ensure that the people they bring on board are looking out for the same goal, just like the founders who began that.
I love the way what you say about recruitment. I think everything begins at the very beginning, when someone is getting into the movement, getting interested into the movement. That phase, that point is very important, because I mean, movements thrive on shared values. So if that lacks, or if there is even just a small crack in that, in the very beginning, the recruitment phase, then it is bound to bring some issues along the way.
Yes.
There is this thing, the fishbowl that we like to do at Solidarity Uganda, which is meant to foster feedback. And I also love what you said about feedback. It's really, sometimes it is hard for people to give feedback, but I find that method, or that fishbowl method,
it's really nice,
so cool. I think we should do like a little demonstration of what a fishbowl thing is, so that for me, I like it because it's raw honesty and no feelings. It's meant to
arise,
constructive. It's some sort of constructive feedback.
Yes.
That is supposed to help strengthen us as a group, as a movement, as people working together. So how it works is that I come, you know how it works. You sit there, I sit here, and
then we talk about something. We talk about
what
has been going on.
Last time, I did not like the way you raised your voice when you were putting across this issue. I felt threatened. I didn't feel safe. So I wanted to tell you that I prefer when you are calmer and you speak to me in a way that is, respectful. I didn't like the way you raised your voice.
And then I also respond, and I begin telling you that maybe I'm sorry about how I made you feel. And it wasn't intentional to make you feel that way, really, but I found myself, it was out of hand. And it is basically very nice to see that you can sit with a person you think you have something against, so that they do not hear it within the other people within the movement. It is really good that way, because it will break the ice, and people will be open to, talking about sharing anything, including their burnt out situations, how they felt when you spoke to them. And at the end of the day, they will feel like, I'm in a safe place.
Space,
Where I am, I'm better suited, because these people hear me out. These people respect how I feel. These people value whatever feedback I'm giving them, and they have not taken it so personal. I think it's the best way to have some conflicts resolved within the movement, and also amongst people that are within the movement.
I like it. At first, it was when I first experienced the fishbowl, I was like, what are these people doing? Like, do you really expect me to come here and tell you what hurt me? And then I tried it once, and I felt like it was a burden was lifted off my heart, but also we were able to talk about the way we function, the way we work as a team, what works for us, what is not working for me, for you, and so we are able to, agree on what is acceptable within our group, within our movement. So feedback is important, and we must also be ready, not just to give feedback, but we also must be ready to receive the feedback.
Yes.
Because if you still don't receive the feedback with an open heart, then it's very hard for you to accept where you've done wrong, or even to really be accountable. Because accountability sometimes is really about asking hard questions and accepting that I failed, or I
Yes.
did something that I was not supposed to do, and I'll do better next time. But sometimes also accountability can look like this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
For example, why are you stealing the movement's resources? It's not about, okay, we forgive you. No, like there are things that happen, and you need to draw a line of what is acceptable and what is not.
Yeah, I think having a movement having non-negotiables is really important, that we do not tolerate this. However much we encourage tolerance of persons, like you'll be having a certain tone, the way how you like speak out, but there are some things that we do not agree with in the movement, and these are one. Maybe we do not accept anyone who is stealing our resources. We're not accepting anyone who speaks to the other in a rude way. Or we do not accept someone who is who does not have the same values that we have, and you draw the line. It's important because at the end of the day, it will help you in doing the disciplinary committees within the institution, like you have it, and it will be having
sound like
it's sounding so
sound like a school or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of non-negotiables, I know there is you've read the New Blood, the one for Youth for Parliament in Zambia. Can you actually share with us just a little bit about like that book and how that movement actually fostered accountability with their non-negotiables and all those principles that they have?
I think I liked that book. It was one of the books
I think also one of my best books, like for the last couple of months. I love that book so much.
Yeah, especially from the beginning, how they began formulating the movement. They saw the need that was there, and from the need, they looked at what values should we embody, and then they looked at a point and they were like, okay, we might have a lot of people, but these are things that we cannot tolerate within our movement. And among those was actually resources. They were not accepting financial resources,
money.
Yeah, money, because money is good, but at the same time, it is an evil. And it's one of the things that has killed very many movements. So for them, they looked at it as one of the things that will drive them away from executing their mandate of being, because most of these people are looking at how do we ensure that very many youths are joining the parliament so that they can bring sustainable change within their community, which the people who were old and they were occupying these spaces of leadership could not do. So they looked at how do we influence. It was majorly about the influence, and they managed to make youths to come to different elective positions, including the parliament, and then also including the mayor positions. But all that was because they said we are not touching money.
Yeah, and the question that always comes up is, if they didn't touch money, how did they do what they did? Because if you look at like their even like their activities, their actions, they needed money, T-shirts,
Yeah.
placards, and all that stuff. How did they? The question always is, how did they manage to actually achieve? Because it was such a big achievement, having young people go to parliament, having young people go to the local councils. It was massive, and that's why I think it's inspiring to me, because also in Uganda we are looking at, young people. We are the majority in this country,
Yeah.
yet we are not in the rooms where decisions are being made. So, and usually here the excuse, money. Like, we don't have money to do this. It's always, we don't have money to do this. So how did the young people in Zambia achieve what they did without touching money?
Before, okay, I'm just going to bring something that is around us. That is our country, Uganda, whereby very many movements are talking about, if there is no money, we can't do anything. But here, you have to realize, what are the different skills that are within the people that I have? Before you even look at money as a resource, we have very many resources, including time. We have all the time. And if we are looking at the youths in Uganda, one of the resources that we have is time. They had all the time. They had people of different skills within the movement. If this one knows how to do graphics, if this one knows how to do
social media,
yeah, those are all resources that are within internally, that if at all you were to source them out from outside, it will require like a lot of funds. But internally, can you first internalize the members you have? Because you might find whatever you're looking out from outside is already in within the circles.
Yes.
If you have people who can make T-shirts, if you have people who can do social media posts, if you have people that people who have the willingness, because also willingness is something that doesn't just come. It's something that people look out for every time and again. You hear of people in Kampala having goodwill, but here, let us talk about the will within the movement, that I'm willing to go to the street and talk about this.
Yeah, that's very good. There is one principle with that. I'll reference the National Land Defense League again. Is one thing that we've been also pushing movements to do is to do internal resource mobilization. We don't see that money is not needed, but we cannot act or organize basing on how much money we are given.
Yes.
Because if you can observe, the funding landscape has also changed, really. You see that since COVID and everything that has been happening with Trump and all those things happening in the world, funding has dwindled like big time.
Yeah.
It's like down here. So does that mean that we stop caring about us, our communities?
No.
So that's why even before COVID, we were still advocating and pushing communities to do internal self-mobilization. So what movements do is that if they are organizing, for example, a peaceful march, they will sit within them. Of course, grassroots communities don't have tech guys in there to design placards and all that stuff, but there's what they have. They will say, okay, I have 1,000 shillings. I'll bring 1,000 shillings. I'll bring this. Just small money here and there. And you see, the advantage of this is that this money has no strings attached.
Yes.
It is your money. Nobody's going to give you rules on how to use this money. It doesn't have any conditions. So you can use those resources the way you want. And that's what some movements are really doing with the chapters across the country that are affiliated to Solidarity Uganda. They get resources from within, and they'll call you, oh, we are organizing this activity. We are going to do an occupation. There's the occupation that happened in 2018 in Gulu at the UN,
Yes.
where these people from APA were suffering this massive land grab. with everything that they had gone through with the LRA war, and now they had to stand against the very government that is supposed to protect them. People in government. They organized themselves and went and camped at the UN offices in Gulu for more than a month. I think there were more than like 36 days.
Yes.
And they were eating. They had food. They had water. They had flour. They had beans. They had everything. But no one was giving them money. These people mobilized within their communities. This is our land. No one is going to save us. We shall go and save ourselves.
Yeah.
And you know what the most interesting thing about that occupation, why I like to refer to it, is even people from the western part of the country who also are under the National Land Defense League and also other chapters that we work with, they were sending food.
Yeah.
You know, so like sometimes we think we need millions of money to actually move and shake tables. But no, what we need is us. And like you're saying, is the willingness. We use what we have. When you're organizing a bicycle caravan against land grabbing, like, and people will be like, we need money for bicycles. And some community was like, no, we don't need money. We have bicycles. So and so has a bicycle at home. We shall borrow that one. And these people borrowed like over 30 bicycles. No money was spent hiring bicycles to do an anti-land grabbing caravan. So, like the question of how do we do this without money? We do need money, like you're saying. We do need these resources, but we cannot be paralyzed by the lack of these resources. Sometimes we need to be creative and innovative with what we have. And I just love the way movements, the groups that we work with are very creative. The way they surprise us with what, doing so much with so little. And it is very inspiring. And it is very easy also, I think, to hold each other accountable.
Yes.
Because how do you start taking away 1,000 shillings that was donated was given by your grandmother or your mother? How do you start doing that? So there are those values that are deep within there.
Yes.
that actually are born out of doing such mobilization and fundraising within the movement.
I actually think that before you even try to go out there to ask for resources, the very first thing you have to first ask yourself is, what do I have and why am I choosing to do it this way? Because the way you're trying to do something, you should be at least having something that will help you in executing whatever you're trying to do, with or without the support of other people. We believe that support is really important.
Yes, we need the allies.
Yes, we need it. Yeah. But first and foremost, first establish, what do I have? And from what you have, then you can reach out to the different partners that you think align with what you want to put out there. Then they'll be able to give you the support that you need. Maybe some people are able to give you water. You have you're planning to have a protest, and people are willing to give you water in kind. They don't have money, but you would have used money to actually buy water bottles.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. That's very good. And as we come to a conclusion, I cannot end this podcast without talking about the elections. They are coming up, and this is the season. And we have had so many activities and actions taken against those that are in power, that are even coming back to ask for more votes from us, the people of Uganda. What would you say to Ugandans, particularly young people, that have even been involved in holding these people accountable? What would you say to them as we get into this period of the general elections?
It's already hot out there. It's already hot that the very perpetrators are having money, and they are busy, distributing, disbursing to people in the community. But one of the things that I would like to share is if you're putting that person simply because they have given you 2,000, and you're giving them your vote, that 2,000 will last for 5 years. They are giving it to you today. They will not extend anything to you. So make sure that you look out for the leaders that embody the same values that you would desire to represent you within those institutions that they want to occupy. I think that is how I can ably put it out there. Make sure I don't get involved in instances of you disbursing the resources to bribe voters, because that is the main job they usually give us, the youth. But make sure this time around, let it change. Let it change that at least for the first time ever, us the youths, we are not engaged in such work.
We are not worth 2,000
Yes.
shillings.
And also hanging posters. Let it not be us hanging those posters of the perpetrators that we are busy fighting against. Let us not be the ones doing so. At least we deserve better as youths of Uganda. We deserve leaders that look into matters that affect us as youths. So make sure that your vote counts to bring change and reforms of the system we are fighting against.
Thank you for that. I was at there's a function I was at recently, and I was shocked. Not shocked, really. Was I shocked? No, I wasn't really shocked. The level at which the impunity, the corruption with which the people in NRM are willing to go to maintain their grip on power, that they are not even afraid to become violent on their own people within the same party. And I'm talking about the NRM primaries. You know how when the general elections come and they're always accusing the guys in the opposition that they are the problem, they are chaotic. So where did the chaos come from now? Within their own structures. So, like what you're saying, open your eyes. If they are fighting themselves violently to hold on to power, what matters to them really? We don't matter. What matters to them is, am I in power? I need to be in that position, come what may. And that's not the kind of leaders that we want. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ritah, for being here. Thank you for this conversation. And before we wrap it up, any parting shots, your last, message to our viewers and listeners?
Okay, I think my message will basically go to the youths, it's being that we are in the period of elections. Make sure that you stay safe. We still need you. Make sure that they are not using you within this period, because when I say using, I want you to understand me very well about that, because most people are just trying to drive us onto their own selfish interests. Make sure you look out for the best. Make sure you're not used, because at the end of the day, come 2026, we'll have those leaders that do not represent you, and you'll be busy saying, I wish I knew, I wish I knew this. Make sure that you report the different injustices that are happening within your community. Make sure those that have smartphones, make sure that at least your phone is one of the tools you have. You don't have a gun, but you can use that phone to capture those incidences that are busy affecting our people, because like Merab said, that violence is already going on. Make sure you capture it. It might be the only solution to saving those people. It might be the only solution to saving that person.
It may be the only way to hold those people accountable.
Yeah. I think that is what I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was really nice having you on the podcast. And please, our dear viewers and listeners, remember to share with your communities, with your network, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. Until next time, bye bye.